Hey guys, welcome to News Dump.
Should we even mention how hilariously bad the debut of Will Smith's Genie was this week? We don't really need to.
Yeah.
You've seen it by now, and the hundreds of memes that were quickly created to mock this big reveal. It was bad, and it was blue, and Disney should feel bad and blue, and, well, I mean, just look at it. Come on.
Jafar seems kind of lame too.
Jafar's hot. He's a real zaddy.
We can all agree on that. Now, with that horrific image out of the way, we should probably start with our title story, and we should start it by saying, no, we're not talking about the actually highly anticipated Joker movie starring Joaquin Phoenix and Zazie Beetz, which is dropping sometime later this year.
We got you.
That Joker movie actually looks like it has a lot of potential to be great. But as you may or may not be aware, there was another completely separate Joker movie in some form of pre-production, which would have had Jared Leto reprise his role as the Joker from Suicide Squad.
We heard you loud and clear, folks. You want a movie starring Jared Leto's Joker. Oh, you don't? Yeah, ever since people started seeing set footage and got to see Joaquin Phoenix in the role of the Joker, the general consensus with fans, ourselves included, was, why the hell do we need another Joker movie where he's played by Jared Leto when his portrayal wasn't even very good?
It's a good question.
It seems as though Warner Brothers was most likely locked into some kind of multi-film deal with Jared Leto and his portrayal of the character, and that might have been true, but common sense has finally prevailed, and it appears as though Warner has dropped the Leto standalone Joker film entirely.
Smart. This makes even more sense considering the news that we shared on last week's episode of News Dump, where articles seemingly confirmed that James Gunn's upcoming Suicide Squad movie wouldn't necessarily be a sequel, but more of a soft reboot. The news about DC and Warner Brothers dumping the Leto Joker movie comes from a recent Forbes article where they confirmed that not only is the Leto movie being shelved, but so is the potential Joker/Harley Quinn love story movie that was apparently still in development.
Sorry, Hot Topic kids.
To add to that, it also appears as though Margot Robbie's portrayal of Harley Quinn will only remain in the upcoming Birds of Prey movie, because they also say that she's unlikely to appear in Gotham City Sirens and probably won't even be included in Gunn's Suicide Squad. A real mess still.
What a mess you've made.
Yeah.
So for 2019, all we're going to be getting out of the DC Cinematic Universe is Shazam, which looks like it's probably going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie. Since Wonder Woman 1984 has officially been pushed back an entire year. It is now set to be released in June of 2020. In other news about movies that are actually still happening over at DC, it was announced last week that the studio will be moving forward on an Aquaman spin-off movie called The Trench, which is billed as a horror fantasy movie and will be produced by Aquaman director James Wan.
Now, speaking of Aquaman, it seems like Warner Brothers kind of ran into the same kind of trouble with that film as they did with Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman. We say trouble, but it's a good kind of trouble. Because just like with Wonder Woman, it seems like Warner and DC were entirely unsure of how it would be received by fans and critics. So they never forgot maybe to just commit to a sequel for the movie at all.
Oh, you want more of that? You don't want more of
Jared Leto as the Joker?
Jared Leto and
he's right here. He's waiting to go.
Affleck is bad. Oh, you like good movies.
Yeah, this happened, as you might or might not remember, it happened with Wonder Woman, where they're like, oh yeah. And then it really put Patty Jenkins in a powerful spot. Fuck you, pay me. Which,
good for her.
James Wan's now in that spot.
Good for him.
So since we, talked about a Wonder Woman sequel, that was resolved for Wonder Woman. And just this week, after an impressive box office run, Warner finally got to work on putting all the pieces together to confirm an Aquaman sequel, because we're sure that the success of that movie took them at least a little bit by surprise. I mean, they probably, when they saw test screenings and stuff like that, they were probably like, oh, this is really good, cool. But it did way better than I think anyone would have imagined.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Currently, Wan is still on board to produce the sequel at the very least, but so far hasn't confirmed whether or not he would be directing.
Show me the money.
Exactly.
Show me the money.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll stay on as producer, so I don't really have to do too much, but we gotta have a little talk about directing.
Oh, you want me to direct the next Aquaman? I think that's how he talks. He's Australian. Give me the money. Give me the money. Now, before we get into the rest of the movie news in today's episode, we would like to take a second to let you know, and we're sure you probably already do know.
Yes.
Inside Gaming is back, baby.
Woo! Yes!
So it looks like the recent acquisition of Machinima by Otter Media isn't all bad news. Because if you remember, hold on, let me take a deep breath because we're going to go over this one last time. So, the Inside Gaming team left Machinima 4 years ago and signed to Rooster Teeth, creating a new channel called Funhouse, while Machinima tried to keep the Inside Gaming brand afloat with new hosts. Hosts whom we love dearly, but ones who were simply just trying their best to keep a brand going that was obviously originally successful because of the original team. Machinima was eventually bought by Warner Brothers, while Rooster Teeth was owned by AT&T and something called Otter Media, which also owns Fullscreen and a bunch of other digital media outlets. AT&T eventually merged with Time Warner, and Machinima was then sold by Warner Brothers to Otter Media, who, also owns Rooster Teeth. Since Otter Media owns Fullscreen, all the Machinima partner channels were switched over to become Fullscreen partner channels, but since AT&T owns Otter Media, who owns Rooster Teeth, and now also owns Machinima, Funhouse and Rooster Teeth are now legally able to take control of the Inside Gaming brand once again because their parent companies now own all the rights. Aren't monopolies great?
It's fun, right? Going through that all the time.
Mergers and acquisitions.
And it feels like we don't have to go through it every time, but people are still very confused by it.
Yeah,
so.
a lot of talk online. It's like, wow, Machinima really in dire straits. They sold off the Inside Gaming brand. I'm like, no, it's all one company.
Yeah,
they're just moving something from one end of the building to the other, essentially.
So anyways, that's what they did. And now Inside Gaming has returned and taken over Rooster Teeth's former infotainment channel, The Know. And they've turned it into the official Inside Gaming channel, where they've revived the show and will be doing daily episodes and weekend shows. And those weekend shows will feature the remaining members of The Know's staff. In addition to Inside Gaming coming back as its own show, it appears as though almost the entire Inside Gaming back catalog, which, if you'll remember, featured a lot more than just daily news content, is officially being hosted on Rooster Teeth's website under the moniker Inside Gaming Classic, which is also good news because now those videos are no longer lost to the sands of time.
Must be nice.
All in all, as far as weird corporate acquisitions go, I mean, this is the most positive thing that we've seen come out of one yet.
Yeah, by far.
So, bravo to the boys and girls at Funhouse, and we're excited that it's back in its rightful hands. And we'll leave a link to the new IG channel in the description below, as well as, all the links from all of the news that we talk about today.
All right, now let's move on to some fake news.
Fake news.
We got some pretty substantial fake news to report on today because it seems like a young, up-and-coming movie news website got some bad intel and decided to just go ahead and post it without verifying it with any of the studios or people involved. An outlet which goes by the very trustworthy name Super Bro Movies. Yeah, I like movies, bro. They caught wind of a rumor that indicated that Rian Johnson would no longer be working on Star Wars. He had a whole trilogy set up. Poof. But the bros are telling me,
nope,
not happening. So they just went ahead and reported it, though they did say it was just a rumor. Regardless, the story was then picked up by numerous other outlets who didn't want to be left out of the traffic that such a story would bring in for anyone reporting on it. Mm-hmm. And because of some bigger outlets reporting on the rumor, it almost gave it validity.
Well, the story was quickly corrected, however, by director Rian Johnson himself, who for his part, he took the whole thing very well. First replying to a tweet about the news saying, "No, it isn't true. I'm still working on the trilogy. With all due respect to the movie bros, who I'm sure are lovely, kind bros with good fraternal intentions." This reply prompted the movie bros to issue a heartfelt apology on Twitter, tagging Rian Johnson and essentially begging for his forgiveness.
Pathetic.
Which he gracefully provided them with forgiveness. He replied with this: "No harm, no foul at all, guys. Thanks. I think the rumor game makes fandom funner." So yeah, nothing actually happened here. Except for a smaller site trying to make a name for themselves by posting a somewhat believable rumor in what we assume was an attempt to beat the bigger sites to the story if it turned out to be true, in order to make a name for themselves, and the whole thing turned out to not be true at all, which in turn will end up hurting their outlet in the long run. So
everyone wants to be Latino Review. Remember when they were on that super hot streak of scoops back when El Mayembe worked there?
Paying off catering people and getting drunk people at Comic-Con to start talking. And I miss the old movie news.
It's a weird business.
It's Heroic Hollywood now, right?
Well, Latino Review's
still going.
They changed their name to LRM because it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Mayembe, he started Heroic Hollywood. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all, look, if you want to have everything spoiled for you and take all the fun out of
everything,
yeah. There's multiple websites for you to do that on.
Yeah.
But
it's like watching a cum shot compilation instead of the whole porno movie.
Yeah.
God, tease me a little bit.
Come on. Take me to dinner.
Yeah.
I'm moving on from fake news that's believable to real news that's unbelievable in a good way. The Breaking Bad movie from writer and director Vince Gilligan is not only actually happening, but it's now officially going to be released right where it belongs, on AMC and on Netflix.
Yeah.
Because odds are a lot of people watch the show primarily on Netflix, despite it being on AMC. It's great. AMC is, of course, the channel that launched the show and carried it through 5 incredible seasons. And Netflix played a very vital role in helping break the show into the gigantic powerhouse it was as it continued through its later seasons because of the instant availability of its past seasons on its platform.
And that might sound like we're giving Netflix too much credit, but they honestly made it much easier and much more accessible to mainstream audiences because people could go from hearing about a great show and jumping in, I don't know, halfway through or forking over cash to buy previous seasons to just binge watching it from the beginning on their own schedule instantly, wherever or whenever they wanted to, through a service that they were already paying for at the time. And this was also when Netflix's instant watch content was nowhere near as vast as it is today. You had a lot less options. So, hey, look, Breaking Bad. I've actually heard some good things about that. I'll watch it. Vince Gilligan himself, he'd even praised Netflix contributions to the show's popularity in the past, saying in an Emmy acceptance speech back in 2013, "I think Netflix kept us on the air. Not only are we standing up here, I don't think our show would have even lasted beyond season 2. It's a new era in television, and we've been very fortunate to reap the benefits."
And then the suits at AMC were like, "Hey, shut the fuck up, Vince.
Yeah.
Shh. We need leverage."
No.
But yeah, it was great. Like, there was a ton of people, like, right before season 5 or even right before the second half of season 5 would just catch up on the entire show because it became this cultural thing that was instantly accessible for anyone to get into.
Yeah, I jumped in on end of season 2, beginning of season 3, but burned through the first almost full 2 seasons.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons in like.
Well, because when you watch it, you're like, I can't stop watching this. Every episode, the end is a gigantic cliffhanger, so it's hard to. It was one of my first like bingeable shows I ever watched.
Oh yeah,
that's how they get you.
Now they've gamified it.
Yeah.
Now you
gotta watch them all.
Ugh. Anyway, this Breaking Bad movie news comes out of an article on Deadline, who confirmed the release on these platforms, and they add that this time around, the release would be reversed, with the movie premiering on Netflix first, and then airing on AMC sometime later. Wow! They also say that it hasn't yet been confirmed whether or not the movie will premiere as a feature-length movie, or if it will be cut up into episodes for release, but they did say that it's being shot as a feature film, so I would assume.
You would hope.
Anyway, as for the plot, there aren't too many details floating around about that. It'll probably remain a closely guarded secret, much like the episodes themselves before they went to air, but it has been confirmed that the film will take place after the series finale and will focus on Aaron Paul's character, Jesse Pinkman. So that timeline definitely removes a lot of characters from the mix on account of them being dead.
Yeah, but wait till Jesse gets a hold of those Infinity Stones and brings back his girlfriend and Walt.
Spoiler. No word on the release dates yet either, but we'll keep you in the loop for sure.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
The first shot's gonna be just Pinkman being like, "I'm back, bitch!"
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to cooking shitty crystal meth.
Yeah.
Or he becomes a science teacher.
Yeah.
And then he gets cancer.
Like, fuck! He can't keep getting away with it.
Yeah. But anyways, now for a quick update on DUNE news.
DUNE news.
Which is a segment that just keeps popping up because it's just because of our morbid curiosity surrounding this film. The cast for the film continues to fill up, and the most recent announcement is that Josh Brolin will be joining Timothée Chalamet, Dave Bautista, Javier Bardem, Rebecca Ferguson, Stellan Skarsgård, and more in this Denis Villeneuve attempt to finally, properly bring this sci-fi masterpiece to life on the big screen the way it should be. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Brolin will play Gurney Halleck, a troubadour swordsman loyal to the family who is instrumental in the awakening of Atreides' cosmic powers, which will then start a revolution. DUNE starts filming this spring. It'll most likely be released in 2020, and on the drive over to the studio, it was also announced that Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa, will also be in the DUNE movie.
A lot of hot nudes.
This is going to be one of the most expensive movies ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of DUNE, started watching that Netflix show Russian Doll. It's pretty good, but there was a DUNE reference in there where like a password to like the bar inside of a bar was Jodorowsky's DUNE.
Cool.
Yeah.
Also, I was very confused because I didn't know which, like, I'd known that I'd seen trailers for a show or movie like that, and I was like, oh, it must be that Netflix thing. Nope, there's actually Happy Death Day to You, which is like kind of the same concept as that show.
Oh, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Anyway, before you go, here are a few more tidbits for your little mouth. For an update to last week's episode where we did a deep dive into the accusations against the National Enquirer from Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos regarding his dick pics and the blackmail used against him regarding those pics. If you haven't watched that episode, please go watch it. It's a wild story. There's a lot of moving parts. And we have an update on the story because an idea was floated that there might have been some government intelligence powers used to potentially lift the texts and photos from Bezos or his lover's phone. But as of right now, multiple sources are confirming that the leaks actually came from the brother of the woman that he was having an affair with, who is a proud supporter of Trump and the GOP, who apparently just wanted to embarrass Bezos, the woman the man that his sister was dating. Must be a fun Thanksgiving at that house.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to watch this war between the Enquirer and Bezos play out. It's certainly far from over, regardless of how they got a hold of the photos and texts. And yeah, just wild. Just fucking weird and wild.
Moving on to stuff that you should watch this weekend. Inside Gaming, go check that out. But also, there's a new movie coming out called Lords of Chaos. And it's based on the Norwegian black metal scene of the 80s and 90s. It stars Rory Culkin, yes, that is Macaulay Culkin's brother, as Euronymous.
He's, at this point, more successful than Macaulay Culkin, I think.
I don't know. He got that Google ad. Anyways, Euronymous, he's obviously the founder of the band Mayhem. The film looks to follow the birth, rise, and fall of the black metal scene in Norway, which started out as a bunch of dorky teenagers trying to freak people out, and ended in church burnings and murder. And suicide.
And a little bit of cannibalism, I think.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. No, they...
Bone jewelry?
When the guy from Mayhem blew his brains out, the other guy... I think it was Dead that killed himself, and the other guy took a picture of it, and then someone, not on purpose, made it a bootleg album cover.
Yeah.
And then the rumor was that they took a bunch of the brain... not brain fragments, the skull bone fragments,
maybe
made necklaces and would hand it to people when they were initiated into the black metal scene. It's a crazy story that I'm excited to watch play out. There's a couple documentaries of varying interest. Some of them aren't very good, but the film's released. It's already spawned protests and outcry from churches who are calling for it to be banned. And based on the most recent trailers, this movie, it looks like it is going to balance both the dorkiness of being a teenager and trying to be super edgy and dark and scary, and also the actual extremes that eventually became involved in the scene.
Yeah.
Most notably, Varg Vikernes, who is the guy from Burzum, who went to jail for murdering another person in the black metal scene,
Yeah.
and definitely burned down a church.
This is like when Dungeons and Dragons goes too far.
He burned down a church, took a picture, and used it as his album cover.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking black metal. But I like my black metal to stay strictly in theatrics, and that's why I listen to Dimmu Borgir,
Yeah.
and I'll just keep it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. No, you don't need
nothing's
to
burning down.
burn down a church. Anyways, I'm pretty fucking excited about it. It's going to select theaters this weekend, so Google it. If you live near a college or a big city, you might be able to see it.
If you're looking for some free entertainment, though, Neil Blomkamp, he just released a short film based on EA's newest not free-to-play title, Anthem.
It's the expensive one,
Yeah.
but the short is free.
Yeah. Bringing this game to life is right inside Blomkamp's wheelhouse, and the result is a damn good short with incredible effects.
Yeah, he did that Halo short. He did Chappie, everyone's favorite Chappie, but everyone's actual favorite District 9, so it makes sense.
Yeah. But the short is short, though. Comes in at just under 4 minutes. So if you have some time to spare, 4 minutes, and you aren't even interested in the game itself, just go ahead and check it out. The links to all the stuff we talked about are down in the description. Do not forget that you can support us in two great, very easy ways right now.
Because we're not owned by AT&T.
No one owns us.
Yeah, except you.
Yeah, you can click the join button right below the video, unless you're watching on iOS.
Hopefully they'll get that fixed.
Well, no, the reason for that is because Apple, you can't make...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Apple takes a cut of all in-app purchases, so most apps just don't have them.
Just log on to desktop once
Yeah.
and click that button.
If you don't want to deal with that fucking headache, you can head to our Patreon using the link below and just throw, I don't know, $5 or $10 our way to keep the show going.
Yeah.
And
Cheaper than Movie Pass.
Yeah, after that, your homework is going to be to check out our most recent videos, Tech News Day, and a video about Crackdown 3.
Oh man, new Crackdown 3 news. Apparently if you co-op with someone, it writes over your save file and you lose all your progress or something. A gem. Anyways, check those out and we'll see you guys next time. We'll be back for Weekly Weird News real soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.